Ray Brown's Talking Birds.
Made possible by the generous support of the Birdwatchers General Store, Orleans, Cape Cod. Birdwatchersgeneralstore.com.
By Vortex Optics with the VIP warranty. Their unlimited lifetime promise to keep you and your optic covered. Learn more at vortexoptics.com. And by Hog Island Audubon Camp. For full camp schedule, program details, and to register, visit hogisland.audubon.org.
Good morning, afternoon, or evening, and welcome to our show number 1040, during which we'll talk to one of the most knowledgeable and accomplished birders we know, or know of, as our special guest, the great Peter Alden, will be with us. Plus, we'll listen to audio postcards created by a listener from the biggest state in the lower 48 and a listener from the smallest state in the lower 48. We'll also be treated to more of the wit and wisdom of Mike O'Connor, and we'll learn a little something about one of the most beautiful birds in the world. Here's the first of two audio postcards. It's from the Lone Star State.
Good morning, Ray. This is Sarah. I'm a Talking Birds ambassador, and I'm sharing Searim State Park. It's along the Texas Gulf Coast. We're only about 5 miles west of a well-known warbler draw being woods, popular place, but we're only 5 miles west of there and have a completely different habitat. This is a saltwater marsh, and it's filled with the American avocets, greater yellowlegs, lesser yellowlegs. We've got blackneck stilts, we've got snowy egrets, great egrets. We've got lots of willets, dunlins, and it's just a wonderful place. It's quiet. You can hear the sound of the Gulf behind me, the waves crashing, and no sign of traffic and noise. Just the birds. It's absolutely wonderful. So just wanted to share it with you, and come on down to Texas and visit this little place. It's wonderful. You'd love it. Take care. Thanks, Ray.
Thank you, Sarah. They're at Searim State Park on the Texas Gulf Coast. Now, I cheated a little bit in suggesting that today's postcards are from the lower 48's biggest state and the lower 48's smallest state. Actually, our second report is from a member of the Ocean State Bird Club, but his audio postcard is from up in the Green Mountain State.
Good morning, Ray. Michael Gow up here in southeastern Vermont, Newfane. You're listening to the sound of the blue-headed vireo. It's at the top of a sugar maple. Typical to see this bird in this location. There's also a black and white warbler that was here earlier, and a red-breasted nuthatch singing, brown creeper, the downy woodpecker. It's a gorgeous day up here in Newfane, Ray. It was great seeing you. Hope all is well.
Thank you, Michael. I had the pleasure of seeing Michael down in Rhode Island at a recent event for the Ocean State Bird Club, of which Michael is the treasurer and a founding member. We're welcoming audio postcards from wherever you are looking for birds, backyard or beyond. So grab a smartphone or other device and record yourself describing what you're seeing and or hearing. Then send the file to ray@talkingbirds.com. That's ray@talkingbirds.com. Well, in case you hadn't heard, our Make Your Own Swag Contest 2025 is underway. The way it works is you send us a request for one of our beautiful little Talking Birds iron-on patches, and we send you one. You take a picture of yourself or a friend with a patch attached to a shirt or jacket or hat or maybe even a backpack or scope cover. Then send us a photo for a chance to win some beautiful prizes. Our judges are picking favorite photos 5 weeks in a row. Then we'll do a random drawing in which everyone who sends us a photo will have a chance to win the grand prize, a Vortex HD Diamondback 16 to 48 by 65 spotting scope. And today we're announcing our first winner of a two-part prize, including a BWD Magazine 2-year subscription, plus a copy of the marvelous new Birding for Dummies book. And the winner is Matt Scott from Albany, Minnesota. Congratulations, Matt. Matt is also a Talking Birds ambassador. Thank you for that, Matt. He is also eligible for the grand prize, that Vortex Spotting Scope. Get those patch requests and then photos to us ASAP. Send them to ray@talkingbirds.com. What we have there is our mystery bird. This is a preview of the contest coming later. I want you to hear the bird and get some clues here. Our mystery bird, along with its family members, is related to terns and skimmers. It's a medium-sized member of its family and features a thin, slightly drooping red bill, a black head, thin white eye crescents. Its upper parts are dark gray, its underparts are white, and it has reddish-black legs and feet. And as you heard, its call gives the impression that it's reacting to something humorous. Our bird, which feeds mostly on aquatic and terrestrial invertebrates, usually foraging while walking along the water's edge, is found mainly along the Atlantic and Gulf coasts of the U.S., as well as points south. That's our mystery bird. Fabulous prizes, including that big mega 600-feeder from Brome Bird Care, and a big bag of our favorite coffee, shade-grown, bird-friendly, delicious Birds and Beans coffee. Prizes and such on our Mystery Bird contest coming up. Happy to be able to support or to what's the word I'm looking for? To thank more Talking Birds ambassadors. Salute, that's the word I was going for there. Folks who are helping us spread the word about our show. Thank you to Robert Johnson from Haverhill, Massachusetts, and Louise Colavito from Chattanooga, Tennessee. Thank you, Robert and Louise. Talking Birds listeners, if you'd like to help our show continue to grow, please join Robert and Louise and more than 900 other listeners in the Ambassadors family. Just click the Get Involved tab at talkingbirds.com to sign up. Still to come today, we'll talk with superstar birder Peter Alden about his formative birding years and some of his amazing avian exploits. Also today, the great Mike O'Connor will join us for Let's Ask Mike Live about the right wood for nest boxes and a warning related to no-mow May. And up next, what may be the world's most beautiful bird is this week's featured feathered friend. We asked today's world traveling special guest, Peter Alden, if he could think of a single bird that really stands out among the thousands of species he's observed. And we've made the one he named today's featured feathered friend. It's the lilac-breasted roller. A strikingly beautiful crow-sized bird found primarily through southern and eastern Africa. The originally described subspecies has a lilac throat, a darker lilac breast, and an olive or green crown and nape. The cheeks and ear coverts are a rufous lilac shade, and adults feature long black tail streamers. The lilac-breasted roller, which is the national bird of Kenya, shows a preference for open woodlands and savanna, perching at the tops of trees or poles, from where it can spot prey, including amphibians, insects, and small birds. The visual beauty of the lilac-breasted roller is not exactly matched by its vocalizations. It offers a raspy, grating call like this. The Cornell Lab's Birds of the World points out that, rather unsurprisingly, little effort has gone into studying its repertoire. It's Coraceus caudatus, the harsh-sounding but beautiful lilac-breasted roller, today's Talkin' Birds featured feathered friend. Welcome again to our show, number 1040. Well, the town of Concord, Massachusetts is known for its pivotal role in the Revolutionary War in the 18th century, for the great naturalist and philosopher Henry David Thoreau, as well as Ralph Waldo Emerson and other intellectuals in the 19th century. And in the birding world in the 20th and 21st centuries, it's home to another favorite son, world-renowned naturalist, lecturer, ecotourism guide, and author Peter Alden, who joins us now to talk about how his lifetime of birding began. Good morning, Peter.
Good morning, Ray. This is Peter Alden in Concord, Massachusetts.
Wonderful to have you, Peter. It's great to see you as well. I can see you on the screen here in our little Zoom machine. Well, Peter, your website explains that you were born and raised in Concord, Massachusetts, where you walked with the ghost of Thoreau among the same trees, rivers, and wetlands. How old were you when you began connecting with nature, and how big an influence was Thoreau on you?
I got interested really young. I think I can recall a black and white warbler that was mentioned earlier in your program when I was 6 years old, and I remember the little Herbert Zim little golden field guides, which is how kids got into things. They used to cost $1 and had a selection of birds. And then I continued all the way through schooling here. And Thoreau, his journals listed places where he would hear the hermit thrush or he would see certain marsh birds. And I used that as my early finding birds guide to my own hometown and neighboring towns. And I now work for the Thoreau Society at the shop at Walden Pond. So he's my buddy. I'm not related to him, but I'm a spiritual descendant of some of Henry's philosophy and his interest in nature and birds in particular. In fact, we just did a book, A Year of Birds, about Henry Thoreau's observations in the 1800s.
I think you called him the first bird watcher, am I right?
Yes, because at that time, whether it was John James Audubon or William Brewster, who lived in Concord also, you shot a bird, you took it to some museum or checked some literature and tried to figure out what it was. And Henry sort of eschewed shooting and killing. He was more interested in behavior and relationships and what these birds were doing. So I call him America's first bird watcher who didn't carry a gun.
Mm-hmm. Well, Peter, by the time you were in college at the University of Arizona, you were leading bird tours in Mexico, right?
Yes, I happened to end up 3,000 miles from home. Got to be vice president of Tucson Audubon, now called Tucson Bird Alliance, unfortunately, to me. And I started going to Mexico bird watching on my own, sort of like my old buddy Ken Kaufman, eating cat food as he wandered around and hitchhiked around the country. I took like 6-pack of Campbell's soup, I think mainly Scotch broth, a can opener, no stove. And every month I would take a train and spend 3 days somewhere in the Pacific coast of Mexico and camp out, see birds, eat my Campbell's soup, and try to get back to class on Monday in Tucson.
All right. Scotch broth, very hearty. That was probably a good choice there. Right. Well, Peter, I want to ask you two, I'm going to call these true or false questions because they're kind of amazing. First one is you have led birding tours in more than 100 countries. True or false?
That is very, very true. And I sometimes work 6 or 7 continents a year and I'm not the world's expert in any one place, but I'm competent to 90% of all visual birds, virtually in every country in the world. And I had to jump around to India and Australia and Brazil and the Arctic and stay up above and pioneering many of the very first bird trips before the field guides, the apps and Merlin and local experts and ecotourism lodges.
Mm-hmm. Well, we generally think of there being a relatively low ceiling on the number of copies a book about birding and wildlife can sell. But it says here, Peter Alden is the author of 15 books on North American and African wildlife, which have sold more than 3 million copies. Peter, true or false?
That's true, actually. My National Audubon Society field guides 8 different regions around the U.S. have been in print for 25 years and suddenly out of print. We're trying to figure out a way to get them back in print. And these cover birds, but also butterflies and trees, 1,000 different birds, well, mammals and all kinds of animal life and insects to different regions around the U.S. And but yes, and my Finding Birds Around the World came out in 1981, and that sort of triggered this craze of people running around the world, those with surplus time and money or energy, to chase birds all over the world.
Wow. So 15 books and another one coming soon. What can you tell us in a little tease about that forthcoming book?
I've got a few friends here in Concord and around New England that are sort of helping me out to do my memoir. We don't know the title. We don't know the publisher yet, but I'm like 2/3 of the way through, about my misadventures in 100 countries around the world and the interesting characters, celebrities that you meet, and some of the highlight adventures and birds. But these were mainly tours and cruises and safaris before all the field guides and ecotourism resorts opened up in many, many tropical countries.
I know you've become an advocate beyond birding for all kinds of environmental issues, and I'd love to hear about that in a subsequent talk, because I know we want to have you back on the show again, Peter. And getting back to what you just mentioned about travel, I know you have some big trips planned, including one to Tanzania. Tell us just a bit about that.
People ask me, what's the greatest wildlife adventure in the world? And you have to go with northern Tanzania these days. This is Ngorongoro Crater, the Serengeti, Lake Manyara, and Tarangire. There's more mammals and more birds in that area than any other spot in the world, even including the Galapagos and the Antarctica. And so we have a trip in November with sparkbirding.com, a company that a friend of mine, Chris Bensley, and I put together when COVID hit and people couldn't go into buildings or elevators or stores or clubs or schools. And so we've been taking beginning bird watchers around various places in New England doing puffins, and we have a loon trip at Squam Lake at the time the babies are riding on their back with the Loon Preservation Group in late June. But at sparkbirding.com, we have a trip in November for 2 weeks, luxury camping and hotels and eco lodges in the Serengeti.
Sounds fabulous, and that website is sparkbirding.com. And next time you're on the show, I'm going to have to ask you about your spark bird, but we're running out of time here for this morning. Peter Alden is a world-renowned naturalist, lecturer, ecotourism guide, and author. That website, again, for more about Peter and his books and courses he offers and lots more, including how to join him on a tour, sparkbirding.com. Peter, thank you, and I look forward to having you back on the show again soon.
Great pleasure working with you, Ray, and I love what you're doing here for the bird watchers around the country.
Thank you so much, Peter Alden, here on Talking Birds. And up next, it's our Mystery Bird contest in just 1 minute.
The flutter of a tail feather, the flash of a wing bar in mid-flight. You don't always have a lot of time to identify a bird in nature, let alone to appreciate its beauty. But with Vortex Optics, you'll have the power to bring every wild moment closer. When you choose Vortex, you're choosing to have a partner in the field as passionate about nature as you are. Whether you're spotting old friends on the backyard feeder or packing for a once-in-a-lifetime trip to add a few species to your life list, Vortex offers a full range of optics and optics accessories for every birder and every budget. And whether the birds are taking you to another state or another country, you're always covered by the Vortex VIP warranty, an unlimited lifetime promise to keep you and your optic covered. If you'd like to learn more, or if you need help choosing your next optic, give Vortex a call at 1-800-4VORTEX or visit vortexoptics.com.
It's our mystery bird. Along with its family members related to terns and skimmers, a medium-sized member of its family features a thin, slightly drooping red bill, a black head, and thin white eye crescents. Its upper parts are gray, its underparts are white, and it has reddish-black legs and feet, and that call giving the impression that something is funny. That's our mystery bird. Give us a call and tell us what that bird is, or take a guess, because any guess could mean a victory in the mystery bird contest, because we always do a drawing if we don't get the exact correct answer, and get a winner that way. Some beautiful prizes, including that big, beautiful Mega 600 feeder from Brome Bird Care, and a big bag of our favorite coffee, Birds and Beans, grown under the natural forest canopy to preserve wintering habitats for warblers and tanagers and thrushes and hummingbirds and more. So that's our mystery bird contest, and we urge you to call as soon as you possibly can so that we'll have time in our short show. Here's the number. I'll give it twice, 781-837-4900. Here it is again, 781-837-4900. Coming up, it's Let's Ask Mike live in just 1 minute.
Hog Island Audubon Camp has welcomed nature enthusiasts to its shores since 1936. It's a program of the Seabird Institute, and the island hosts 5-night sessions for adults, teens, and families taught by the world's leading naturalists, ornithologists, and artists. Hog Island campers deepen their relationships with the birds and the ecosystems around them during the island's immersive educational camps. New for the 2025 camp season is Let's Go Birding Together. Scheduled during peak fall migration, this session is a safe space for queer birders to connect with nature and each other while learning ways to foster a similar environment in their community's home. For full Hog Island schedule, program details, and to register, visit hogisland.audubon.org.
Mike O'Connor is down there at the famous Birdwatchers General Store on the famous Cape Cod, and he joins us right now, I think, with a couple of different topics there. Maybe he doesn't have any topics at all right now because we don't seem to...
I think I hung up on Mike
hung
on
up
purpose.
on him. Yeah, I can't, don't blame you, but you know, we'll get him back again in any case. I don't know if I should tell this, but should I tell about Mike's coffee problem? No, I won't say it because he's probably upset enough already with his coffee problem this morning. But we have a couple of topics, and I think we even maybe have Mike, do we? Or is that am I a little premature still on that? I think we've got him. Are you there, Mike?
Man, it's been a rough morning. I don't even want to get into it right now.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I probably shouldn't have mentioned it at all about your coffee problem. But
things happen to the nicest people.
That's exactly right. And even in this case, it happened to you. I don't know what I meant by I meant that in the nicest possible way. I can assure you. So let's see. I think you were going to recommend a particular type of wood for nest boxes, and also some.
Yeah, and before I begin, speaking of nice people, we had Russ and Connie in from the state of Indiana, and they stopped by the store, and they're really, so far they're the nicest people I've met from Indiana. They were just so nice and pleasant, and they came in, and they're big Talking Bird listeners, so I just want to give them a little shout-out.
All right.
But anyways,
yeah.
Back to a couple of things. First of all, my wife, I don't do social media, so I have no idea, but I know people do, and my wife was saying there was debate on how to make a birdhouse and what wood to use, and people were trashing certain woods, and certainly don't want to use chemically treated wood. Yeah. But they were talking about don't use cedar. Cedar is a tremendous thing to use for birdhouses. I couldn't recommend that enough. It lasts forever. The birds like it, and I have a lot of nest boxes, and the birds use them for decades, and they're all cedar. There's no side effects, so don't start that nonsense on social media. The cedar's no good. As a matter of fact, I had one pine box, and with gray-crested flycatchers in it, and it wasn't cedar. And the insects, because insects avoid cedar, they climbed into the pine box, and it was mites, and they kind of took out the whole family. So
What do people say? What do people say is the problem with it? Why did they?
I don't know. It's just my wife passed it on. That's all I'm going to say. I wasn't reading it. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe I think because cedars, the bugs don't like it, so maybe they thought the birds wouldn't like it, or there's a fume, or something. Because cedar forest, there's not a lot of insects in a cedar swamp, so maybe they're just I don't know. Who knows? But
all right. Well, when you talk to your wife again, if you ever talk to her, I mean, maybe you can.
She's all behind a coffee maker, so I can't even talk to her.
So we just finished the month of May, and it's one of the nicknames of it is No Mow May, referring to mowing your lawn. You have a thought or two about that?
Well, only because I'm not a bug guy, so I know a lot of people thought the pollinators would benefit if you let the grass grow, and I'm just going to say grass, not a lawn. Nobody needs a real lawn, but if they've got a natural grass area and a few weeds mixed in, and they thought, well, the blossoms, the pollinators would like that, and I know there's some back and forth whether that's good or bad or not. But even if you've left your lawn grow because of the pollinators, or you just were too lazy to mow it, or you were away, or a lawnmower broke, and now the grass is long and you're going to cut it. I suggest, because mine was really long this week, just do a quick walk through the long grass before you mow it, because not only could it branches and rocks be in there bad for your lawnmower, but there's baby birds this time of year that come out of the nest early, especially robins and bluebirds that kind of run and hide in the grass. But there's also baby bunnies and migrating tree frogs all going to the grass. So before you just go out and cut everything back down to your short grass that people like, just kind of do a walk through the path that your lawnmower is going to take, just to make sure there's no creatures kind of hiding in there, because if you run over something in your lawnmower, you're going to have a bad... You think my day's bad without the coffee, that's going to...
that would be even more worser. Yeah. You got to make sure you cuff up your pants, too, if you're going through an area where those other little critters might be.
Well, you're right. Yeah, sure. There's ticks can be out there depending where you live. Some places ticks aren't an issue. But, yeah, do a little tick pick when you're done. But just make sure there's nothing living in there, or turtle or anything, or stones, because... You know, if you've got a wife or husband that throws stones at squirrels because they can't stand them on their feet, those rocks are still out there.
Right.
So be careful where you mow before you start taking things back to normal.
All right, we got it in cedar for the nest boxes, and I thought balsa wood would be good. It's nice and light, but probably that's not a good one.
No, then they float away. And
they float away, and then you got to put another one up there out of cedar. All right, Mike, thank you. We'll talk to you next week.
Sounds great. All right, thanks. Bye-bye.
Mike O'Connor at the famous Birdwatchers General Store on Cape Cod, and we just have time to get back to our mystery bird contest before our show wraps up. And by the way, I don't want to forget to mention this. Next week, the amazing Rosemary Moscow will be our guest, talking about her new book, The Birding Dictionary. In case you think it's a dry book, trust me, it's not when it's written by Rosemary Moscow. On our show next week. And right now we have Ellen in Scituate, Massachusetts, on the Mystery Bird Contest. Hello, Ellen.
Hi.
Hi. You heard the clues and stuff, did you, Ellen? And you think what?
I did. And I think it's a laughing gull.
You think it's a laughing gull? I think it's a laughing gull.
Awesome. Yay.
Yay, that's right.
And it's my birthday.
Wow, happy birthday. Well, perfect.
Thank you.
And has your coffee maker hasn't broken either, I bet, right?
Right.
Okay. All right, you're all ahead of it. And Laughing Gull is exactly right. And that's it for the time of our show this morning. Ellen, if you'll stand on the line, Jesse will take your info and we'll send you those beautiful prizes.
Okay, cool.
All right. Thank you, Ellen, correctly identifying the laughing gull as our mystery bird. Before we go, just a quick note again to say thank you to our Patreon subscribers who are helping to keep our show going. If you go to patreon.com and then just type in Ray Brown's Talkin' Birds. I'd say it that way because I think you have to put that whole full name in there to make it work. So Ray Brown's Talkin' Birds if you go to patreon.com. Thanks to our amazing Talking Birds team, Debbie Bleacher, Freya McGregor, and our producing engineer, Jesse Wilkins. Thanks to our special guest today, Peter Alden. I'm Ray Brown. See you next week.
The Bird Show. I like that.
Ray Brown's Talking Birds.
Made possible by the generous support of the Birdwatchers General Store, Orleans, Cape Cod. birdwatchersgeneralstore.com.
By Vortex Optics with the VIP warranty. Their unlimited lifetime promise to keep you and your optic covered. Learn more at vortexoptics.com. And by Hog Island Audubon Camp. For full camp schedule, program details, and to register, visit hogisland.audubon.org.